This is Theodore at Lies of the Devil. Go to liesofthedevil.com. We're at the front line in spiritual warfare. I've am learned in investigative journalism and audio visuals. This ministry is to expose the lies of Satan by pointing out satanic propaganda, fake type fraud news, Christian truthers that are making merchandise of you, and that's what we're all about. It's just exposing lies and leading people to Jesus Christ, ripping souls away from Satan and leading them to Jesus Christ. This documentary is going to be about the Las Vegas shooter. I'm going to try to clarify the best that I can the different issues that are out there, stop a lot of the different type of conspiracy theories that are out there, shut the mouths of those who say that they are Christians but are making merchandise of you, and then giving you clarification as to who this shooter is, what type of life he was living, why he did what he did, what his motive was, and then to recap everything, why Jesus Christ is important and why we are in a spiritual warfare. It's much more real. The spiritual world is much more real than the physical world. And how we need to be very careful where we get our news from, who we listen to. I'm not perfect. I'm the first to admit I'm not perfect, okay? All of this stuff I want you to look up after you watch this documentary. Everything I talk about, look it up for yourself, okay? I want to open up this in prayer. If you're not a Christian, if you don't believe in Lord Jesus Christ, stay tuned. Just hang out, watch this video, give Lies of the Devil 30 days, and we will wake you up and lead you to Jesus Christ. God will save you, guaranteed 100%, if you want to know the truth. Let's just pray here. And Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus Christ, please help me speak fluently and fluid in a manner that people can understand what's going on with this Las Vegas shooter, why it's important that we need you in our life, and how without you, this world would be more violent, more angry, more confused, and that once we put on the armor of God and read your word in your holy Bible and we truly understand you and what you're trying to explain to us in your book and through your son Jesus Christ, who died and was resurrected, then we have clarification and we can discern. Amen. So I'm going to get right into this, okay? I mean, a lot of this stuff that is happening with these Christian truthers and Alex Jones and all these conspiracy theories, it is absolutely insane. And the first clip I want to go to is a call for an uprising, okay? First of all, wickedness. My wife is going to find the Bible verses here as I speak, but God says specifically that rebellion is wickedness. Wickedness is rebellion. So a call for an uprising, right there, that flat out, and he's got a big Eye of Horus Illuminati sign on his, and he's got like some guy in blood, bathed in a bath full of blood. I mean, the guy's wicked. It's all clickbait. So is the Vigilant Christian. It's all about making money, clickbait. I'm going to play this clip, and then we're going to diagnose what this video is actually saying.
Gun control, because remember, they want your guns, they want everyone's guns for a reason. Total control. And they have to create events like this to create fear, to create panic amongst the masses so that they ask, that they beg, I should say, for gun control, for our government to push this across. Now,
do you understand what he's saying? He doesn't even give clarification. He's saying they do this to push gun control. Who are they? Okay? Yes, the government, Adolf Hitler, did this. He used terrorism in order to gain control of the government. Okay? It's happened in Rome. Okay? There's evil people that do this. But listen, not all the people in government are evil. So right out there, he just uses these vague general terms, they. What are you talking about?
Down over and over and over. All of these quote-unquote terror attacks have been cars. Now, another common theme that we're seeing, because this is the second time within a year that this has happened, and it appears to be a new common theme, because I'm sure we're going to hear about it again, is concert shootings. Now, why concert shootings? Well, for lots of reasons. They want people to think, listen, it's not even safe for you.
You're just making things up. If you go look at Fox interviews of DHS, even the Department of Homeland Security came out and made an official statement and said that, listen, these things happen and you can't stop living your lives. You know, that's what happens with freedom. With freedom, there's a price of insecurity, right? Something could happen like this. It's a madman. So it's just fear mongering. You know what I mean? Just making things up. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit more into this clip where he talks about how he was an MK Ultra plant that had multiple personalities and that the government triggered him.
Goes to their wife or their husband or whoever. Events like this, when he has no connection to anybody at the concert. You know, he's just opening fire on a bunch of random innocent people. And they want you to think that there's maniacs and psychopaths out there that would just open fire on and kill random people. People, you know, from that distance, from the hotel, he couldn't even see what they look like. So, like, false flag event on October the 1st as we move into October, which is their month. You know, the most ritual sacrifices, the most rituals occur during October. Kidnappings, you name it. We know this whole month is, you know, a month where they celebrate this, you know, there's no history of this stuff. So what it reeks of to me is a Manchurian Candidate. That's what the story reeks of. Now,
so pagans, witchcraft, neo-pagans, Christianity, they worship All Hallows Eve. Okay, that's what's going on in October. And yes, they do baby ritual sacrifice, they do all kinds of weird stuff. And then he ties that in with the CIA and MK Ultra. Okay, you have to be very careful as to what you're ingesting, what you're listening to. Okay, this guy, go look up ABC Christian 2. Okay, I should have pulled up one of his videos. Go look up ABC Christian 2, and he breaks it apart. A Call for an Uprising has ties to people at MTV and in Hollywood and stuff like that. Okay, and so all of this is clickbait. He doesn't even he probably is not even a true believer in Jesus Christ. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't really know him, but just the fruit is rotten, and it's all about making money. Here, I'm going to show you his Patreon account. And again, I'm not saying money is wrong. Making money is wrong. Okay, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that making merchandise of you. Okay, Bible explicitly talks about that. 561 patrons. I guarantee they give more than $1 each. Okay, so this guy's making a lot of money. And what is he doing with that money? Is he going out and evangelizing? No, he's making shock videos. You know, I just can't stand that. Here we go. Here we go. 2 Peter chapter 2, verses 3. And through covetousness, coveting money, getting your guys' hard-earned money, and who knows what kind of lifestyle he's living. I'm sure he's living a great lifestyle. And through covetousness shall they, with feigned words, make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. All right? Let's look at one more video. This guy is a joke, and he's supposed to be a Christian. AMTV, it's an absolute joke.
Cover up, pre-planned, coordinated attack. I've been tweeting this on Twitter. Now, I don't know if all of you have seen the clip where Eric actually says none of this makes sense. It's almost like Men in Black put a bug on his brother Stephen's shoulder.
His video, by the way, is called Stephen Paddock's Brother Confirmed MK Ultra CIA Declassified Proof. I mean, it's just a ridiculous. He's stuffing keywords, sensational keywords, in the video so that you guys will click on it.
Watch for yourself here. I'm going to play this clip for you. This is the brother.
It's you know, the bug in Men in Black. It's you know, the bug in Men in Black put on a Steve suit and went and did this. I mean, there's no other rationalization. It's you know, the The bug in Men in Black put on a Steve suit and went and did this.
And bones. Look it up for yourself. In fact, I tweeted this. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Please watch this video here, which I posted on 3/22 of this year, titled London Terror, Skull Safe. You want to feel taken care of. I mean, so do I. That's like a natural inclination.
I'm trying to find the rest of the clip, but basically he keeps playing this clip of him saying, "My brother was an army." I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It was a form of speech, and he keeps playing it over and over and over. Now, see what they do. This is what Satan does. He takes 60, 70, 80, 90% truth and mixes lies in there just to confuse you. And that's what this person is doing. Skull and Bones is an occult fraternity. Okay, they do weird stuff. Yes, we know that. All right, that has nothing to do with this guy who was an atheist psychopath. All right, and it's all and later on you'll see that in an interview with one of the Las Vegas sheriffs, a guy calls in and asks him the most bizarre questions about pertaining to the shooter, and the sheriff is like, I think I understand what you're saying, but let me try to answer that, because it was so random, nonsensical bull. All right, now I just want to reiterate as we're going through this that Jesus Christ, when you have Jesus Christ in you and dwelling in you, you can see through all this stuff. You have discernment. All right. So I'm gonna show you another video of this guy. I don't even know his name. AMTV talking about how I just love Jesus. Jesus is just so great. While he's making tons of money. I mean, he's got a huge studio, and then his website is selling like food preparation and like prepper type stuff. You know, making tons of money. Why does he have a big studio? Why is this guy pushing out clickbait and making tons of money off of, and he's got a studio when, you know, if he's so concerned, wouldn't you think he'd be living like us in a tent trying to evangelize or trying to run away from the government? You know what I mean? It's just insane. It's ridiculous when you really look at all this stuff.
Of faith, just being happy. It's just amazing. God is so great. So I just wanted to introduce.
Let me show you what that is. We should all just be happy. I mean, God is just so great. God gives you joy, absolute delight and joy. But the fruit that this guy is producing is rotten. Wake up.
The video today with that. Amen. Amen. And I want to welcome 30,000 plus new subscribers to the channel just within the past couple of weeks. 30,000 plus new Truth Warriors joining the cause. It's just absolutely so amazing, and we are so humbled here at AMTV.
I want to thank 30,000 new subscribers, Truth Warriors. You know, they're there for the cause. They're there for the entertainment. You know what I mean? They don't, you know, real believers in Jesus Christ are out there evangelizing on the streets. People that call us and are saying, "Hey, listen, how do I get my ministry started? Hey, listen, you know, what do I do? I want to order 100 DVDs that are free, mind you. I want to order those, and I want to start handing them out to friends and family and waking them up." That's real evangelism, not making YouTube videos, clickbait, and trying to fool people and sucker them. His subscribers are there because of entertainment. I'm just so sick of this. I'm so sick of this stuff when I watch, you know what I mean? Fake Christians like that. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesseth that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist. Go look at go look up the last Bible study I did on the Las Vegas shooter. Whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. So the Antichrist spirit is in the world. That's Satan. Okay, and just because people say that they believe in Jesus Christ doesn't mean that they're saved. Doesn't mean that they're of God. People say it all the time. Alex Jones says that he believes in Jesus Christ, and he's pushing Luciferianism, one world religion. Okay, just like this guy. Just because he says he's Jesus Christ, ye shall know them by their fruit.
Also, and happy Friday to you. By the way, it's Friday the 13th, so just be aware of that. Also, I wanted to give you a critical update on the Las Vegas shooting, of which I've been over incessantly. The entire investigation is not only flawed, but has been officially compromised.
Such a joke. I'm gonna show you right now. That's just a total joke. Man, I'm trying not to get angry, but the more I look at this stuff, it's just like these people are just brute beasts. Their conscience is seared. So this Jesus Campos guy, okay, actually, I want to go through a couple more things. So I'm going to go look at his website. Go to if you go to AIM-TV, Road Emergency Survival Kit. This looks like Alex Jones of InfoWars. He's got his little coffee mugs. He's got his fruit preparation, his survival bags, his bug out bags. You know what I mean? His water purification systems, his toothbrush, his lights, his solar panels. This guy is so concerned. He's so concerned. He's building a hundreds of thousands of, if not $1 million studio, where he makes these clickbait videos. He's so concerned. Look at that. It's making merchandise of you. It's scaring the crap out of you so that you'll go do this stuff. It's just ridiculous. Here we go. My baby's got, thank you, God, for leading my sweetheart to give the right Bible verses. Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. For in him dwelleth in all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. I'm glad we have the Lord Jesus Christ to give us truth and discernment, and to mark and avoid these type of people. So he goes on to talk about Jesus Campos and how he's making up all kinds of weird conspiracy theories, whatnot. And Jesus Campos was the first guy to go on the 32nd floor, and he tried to actually get to the floor, but but Stephen Paddock had it locked. He had a prop there to went from the elevator up, and Stephen Paddock had cameras down the halls so he could see where people were coming from. Well, as soon as Jesus Campos' security guard at the Mandalay Bay walks by Stephen Paddock's door, he starts opening up fire, and he ends up wounding this man, who ends up calling the security at the casino, who eventually call the police to come and investigate. Okay? And he didn't come out on Fox News, and we're going to get to this. He didn't come to Fox News when he had an appearance. He disappeared, and people were wondering what was going on. Well, he went to an intensive care unit. You know what I mean? And so everybody was making up these conspiracy theories. Oh, Alex Jones said he's floating with the fishes, and that's a Sicilian term for, you know what I mean? I mean, they're killing people left and right who are trying to expose this for what it is. He ends up coming out on the Ellen DeGeneres show, who's a lesbian, okay? He ends up coming out on that show, which is tied to the actual casino, and it's about money, okay? The root of money is all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil, okay? Which we know of. To go on Ellen DeGeneres, who basically promotes the casino and whatnot. And he basically says, listen, I'm taking it day by day. No conspiracy. Not at all. And even now, there's people on the internet taking his face and saying that, it's not the same Jesus Campos. It's a clone or somebody that looks like him. Oh, okay. Let's go back to this. See this video? They censored my live show on Las Vegas shooting. Yeah, no duh, because you're making up nonsense. What if Las Vegas shooter was a government agent and not a madman? Where's the news in all this? It's all opinion. Keep in mind, cameras everywhere in Las Vegas police state. I'm going to go show you that the Las Vegas, one of the interviews that nobody wants to talk about, was one of the sheriffs at the scene who says that, yes, they have, that the security is not bulletproof, that they have cameras and Alex Jones says that they have cameras in the rooms in Las Vegas and this, that, and the other. Nonsense, man. And he's like, they should have all the information. I mean, they should have seen him in his room. They've got cameras in the room. No, they don't. The Las Vegas officer said that there's cameras all on the gaming room floor, but people have privacy. And so they only have so much information that they can collect. And this guy is saying there's Las Vegas police state cameras everywhere. They should have all the information they need in order to crack down on this guy. That was something that's fishy. Look at his other stuff. Unbelievable. Found Illuminati 322 everywhere. Las Vegas shooting. Okay, he's into numerology now. I mean, you can make up anything when it comes to numbers. You can come up with all kinds of stuff. Shocking discovery. Brother of shooter don't add up. Inside job. Las Vegas shooter, a government contractor with direct connection to Lockheed Martin. This is he was employed by Lockheed Martin, okay? And Lockheed Martin has all kinds of different contractors working with them for military equipment and whatnot. He was an accountant for Lockheed Martin. I made a video when I first heard about this. I was like, something's fishy, you know what I mean? I want answers. But he wasn't. All he was an accountant. The guy was a mathematician. He was brilliant when it came to numbers. He was fudging tax returns for his family so that they can get the most out of their tax refunds. Okay? This is another video by somebody who uses you for merchandise, this still report. This man that I'm about to show you, he's putting out his numbers, making a big deal out of it. But he's got, he's into Bitcoin. He's into Bitcoin and gold and silver and all this junk that won't help you. You know what I mean? It's good to diversify your portfolio, but he's like saying that this is the only thing that's going to save you when an economic crash happens. Well, you try to throw gold at somebody who's raiding your house for food. You know what I mean? You try to throw gold at him, see what happens. But he's all into Bitcoin, which is digital currency, which is mark of the beast type technology, and he's got his own theories when it comes to the Las Vegas shooter.
Post number 1, posted at 5:08 a.m.
This was September 11th of 2017, so this was less than a month before the actual shooting on an anonymous channel. And I'm not even going to get into anonymous with the big, bunch of rebel groups, hackers and whatnot. This was on an anonymous channel that anybody can make up anything that they want, okay? And he's using this as if it's a piece of information that later ties into the bigger scheme of things when it came to the Las Vegas scandal.
Look, I feel bad for some of you on this website, so I'll let you in on a little secret. If you live in Las Vegas or Henderson, stay inside tomorrow. Don't go anywhere where there are large groups of people. Also, if you see 3 black vans parked next to each other, immediately leave the area. You're welcome, John. Post number 2, at 5:28 a.m. It's called the High Incident Project. They want to make the American public think that places with extremely high security aren't safe. They are trying to create more regulations. You will see laws proposed within the next few years to put up more metal detectors and other security devices. Media and politicians will be saying places with lots of police need even more police. I can't guarantee anything will happen tomorrow, but Las Vegas is on their minds. John. Post number 3, posted at 5:55 a.m. If their plan is successful, state of Nevada will pass a law in the future making all casinos have mandatory metal detectors and backscatter machines. Soon after, a federal law will be passed to put these machines in universities, high schools, federal buildings, you name it. OSI Systems and Chertoff are the main producers of these machines. Sometime around 2020, Chertoff and OSI will merge into a single company.
Okay. See, this is where Satan can confuse people. He does a very good job at doing this. So this guy comes up and makes an anonymous report about black vans being in Las Vegas and that they're going to use it for more security and whatnot. 9/11, Chertoff, what he's talking about, at 9/11, the man who was in charge of DHS, okay, after 9/11, went into the private sector and ended up selling the machines that the TSA would then later on use for security. at the airports, which you see now, the body scanners. Okay? The people that are in government, they have a revolving door where they get insider information on what the government needs for security, okay? And then they'll go back into the private sector and then create that technology for the government to use, okay? That's a conspiracy. That's collusion. That's money. A lot of money. They want to make a lot of money, okay? That doesn't mean that they do the false flags and then to go make the money and try to, no. What they're suggesting here, what this guy is saying on an anonymous channel, is that the government is going to put a false flag together, which Alex Jones and them conveniently run with. They're going to put a false flag together, cause chaos, cause havoc, cause violence, and then the private sector will then come in and help them regulate the private economy or casinos or whatever, just like what this Steele guy was reporting. That is beyond ridiculous. And I'll explain to you why, okay? Nowhere have they found a second shooter. Nowhere did they find Antifa information. Nowhere did they find that it was ISIS. And a friend of mine called and said that now they're going to accelerate. They're going to take our guns away and whatnot because of all the hysteria that was created on the internet. When 9/11 happened, the Patriot Act was instant, okay? Whenever the government is trying to push something, evil people in government, let's just say, trying to push something, it's instantaneous. What happened in Las Vegas, there wasn't an instant change. That shows you that it wasn't pre-planned. It wasn't like evil people put this together, okay? If they wanted to do something where they wanted to like push something through, shove it down people's mouths, they would have done it literally the same day of the incident, like they did on 9/11. Okay? And 9/11 was done by Saudi Arabians and that hate Americans because they wanted us to, you know, they want to try to rape us of our resources. They want the military to be spread out. Anyway, that's a whole different story. Okay? And I believe the government allowed it to happen kind of like Pearl Harbor because they, you know, Pearl Harbor, they knew the attack was coming from Japan and they allowed it to happen so that they go to war because the people didn't want to go to war. All right. And I believe it was the same thing with 9/11. They knew that the Middle East was falling apart. They knew it was a bunch of ISIS people. They wanted to go to war, but they allowed it to happen, 9/11, so that we had an excuse to go into the Middle East. Now, do I think that that's evil? Might as well be upfront with the American people. I get it. Public relations, it's not a good thing. So my point is that this wasn't one of those scenarios. The government had no idea. Otherwise, they would have slammed it down your throat, new legislation.
Mandalay Bay engineer Stephen Shook appeared on The Ellen Show this afternoon. Since I was wrong about Campos being among the living, I'm going to err on the side of timidity in analyzing this 9-minute interview. Plus, I'm a bit worried about being hit with a copyright infringement strike, so I'm just going to hit a few points. Campos' one and only appearance. Why? Because MGM, the owner of the Mandalay Bay, is funding an Ellen slot machine game. MGM is a very powerful supporter of her financially and politically. To me,
so basically MGM, which is, you know, makes the movies and whatever, they have a slot machine of Ellen DeGeneres in their casino. So it's all public relations, it's all money, okay? The love of money is the root of all evil. And so instead of Campos going to Fox News and all these different outlets where the news is incredibly vicious, if it bleeds, it leads, okay? If they find any type of hole, anything that they, for ratings, for the love of money, they will exploit it. And since this guy is not, Jesus Campos isn't like some type of pundit, you know what I mean, that knows how to work the news circuit, the MGM probably like, listen, we screwed up when it came to security. We don't want any people, you know, poking holes in the story and whatnot. So you're going to go on Ellen DeGeneres, okay? It's very deceitful, but that's what happened, okay? It wasn't some type of elaborate conspiracy. Okay. John 16, verse 13. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. That's Jesus Christ talking. It's basically saying that you'll know the truth. You won't need all these conspiracy, all this junk that's out there floating around there. You don't need that to know the truth. The truth is that this world is falling apart. It's evil, and it's all for money, and it's a love of money. Why all of this clickbait and all everything we were talking about, why it's happening. Okay, now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you right here, Alex Jones. His whole, if you look at, I talked about how Alex Jones' narrative is breaking apart. It's falling apart because it is. It still is. But see, these people, we went through it with Kent Hovind. Okay, Kent Hovind, which people are finally waking up about. I think I got his documentary here. If not, go order it online at liesofthedevil.com. Kent Hovind, Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, or watch it for 2 hours on the internet. But he's very good at it. Just lie. The bigger the lie, the better the lie. The more I repeat it, more people will believe it. And they dig their heels in deeper. And that's what Alex Jones does. He makes up stuff, and then he just keeps lying and pushing it. And people will believe it rather than actually going and doing the research and finding out a lot. What he says is a sham. 60, 70, 80, 90% is truth. Some of it's a lie. Okay? Just listen to him. And I'm going to explain what the sheriff is actually, what happened with this sheriff. Not that he's scared for his life.
Imploded. It turns out that our FBI hostage rescue team sources that are good people on the ground were dead on about the Islamic connections, dead on about the Antifa connections, dead on about him and his girlfriend going to the Middle East, dead on about him checking in 3 days before, dead on about a media cover-up. And all of it now, ladies and gentlemen, is coming out in mainstream news. But it's kind of back of the paper, or kind of at the end of the news. It's like, oh, let's move away from there now. Let's move away from gun control now. Let's move away from blaming conservatives and Christians and white people now. Let's just not look at it anymore, because this is just today. CBS News. Worker warned hotel before Las Vegas shooter opened fire on crowd. He was running around, reportedly with others, shooting people in the hallways, security guards, you name it. What we first reported, that 2 cops had been shot and a security guard. It's all here because we have the real sources. This is today. On Wednesday. It's on Infowars.com.
So, do you understand the deceit? So, Alex Jones says there was multiple shootings and he killed, he shot multiple people before he actually, started shooting up the crowd and whatever. And then he goes into a news story that actually tells the truth about how it was Jesus Campos that was shot initially before he opened fire on people. So he lied to get his narrative across, because that's what he has. So he lies, and then he gives the truth. This is what these people do. They have to lie and then give truth. Lie and give truth. Lie and then give truth. Because they have to sell you their narrative. They have to sell you their products. They need you to go visit their website so they can sell you stuff. Let's look at Alex Jones' website. He's constantly plugging this stuff. Nutraceuticals. I guarantee you I know where he gets all this stuff. I'll explain to you exactly how he gets all of these nutraceuticals. Super Blue fluoride toothpaste, anti-fluoride, or whatever, mouthwash. Okay? So, it's come out that Alex Jones' CIA family in the CIA, who he admits he's on both. Look at the documentary Alex Jones and Infowars. Alex Jones of Infowars documentary. You want to know about the bad side of government? I'm going to explain to you right here. This. Alex Jones' family was on both sides of the Rosicrucians and Freemasonry. They're in the CIA, okay? His family, his mom and dad, they make a lot of money with the CIA, retired or whatever, and he's even, how should I say this? Information has come out that his family actually is the one funding his operation, the CIA. Okay? They're the ones that are actually funding him. And it's a family business. And so all of this nutraceutical stuff, he says that we're getting it from the best producers and stuff like that. Okay, this is how he does it. I shouldn't even go in this direction. Make a long story short, there's people like Kellogg, like cereal makers, okay? They'll make cornflakes. And as soon as they get done making all their cornflakes, the best product that they can put out there on the market, then they'll sell the rest of their cornflakes to like Malto-Meal or, you know, some off-brand like Good Value. Okay, and that's Alex Jones. He's the off-brand of what Kellogg cereal makes, okay? Or whatever these nutraceutical, you know, GMC or whatever. Not GMC, GNC, okay? That's what he does. And he sells then he sells fear. Here's all the different Alex Jones conspiracy theories. In a video shared on Monday, Jones suggests footage of the massacre shows a gun was being fired from the 4th floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, despite there being no verification for the claim, and authorities dismisses the idea there was a second shooter. Could Stephen... here we go. Why would an alleged Trump supporter open fire on a country music festival that is largely made up of Trump's base? Could Stephen Paddock, the lone Vegas shooter, have been a patsy to kick off the left's war with the right in the streets of America and to simultaneously roll in the Rapiscan naked body scanners that profit former DHS Secretary Michael Chertoff, George Soros, and a handful of lobbyists connected to the management of the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino? He's not. He wasn't a Trump supporter. His brother says he has no political, no religious affiliations. The guy was just loony. See, this is what happens when these snake oil salesmen, they grab, and I spoke with EMTs, okay, as we were traveling America. I picked their brain about this, and the guy said it perfectly. He said, you have the left and the right politicizing the issue, and they're blaming a boogeyman in government for it. And that's exactly what it is. Alex Jones, he's a liberal. He's not a conservative. He's a liberal, very much an antichrist type liberal anarchist, you know, social plutocratic socialist, crony capitalist type guy who doesn't care. He makes all the money. He doesn't care what you do afterwards. You want to be naked and do whatever you want in your bedroom with whomever you want. He's all for it. But as long as he's making money and selling patriotism, he's all for it. So anyway, that's what they're doing. They're all blaming a boogeyman, and people are falling for it. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 26. A righteous man falleth down before the wicked is as a troubled fountain and a corrupt spring. Don't fall down to these people. You know what I mean? Don't fall down to their wickedness. Psalm 1, verse 2. Verse 3. 1 and 2. Oh, 1 and 2. Sorry. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. When you're a believer in Jesus Christ and you have the law, and you are obedient, you have total freedom. This stuff doesn't worry you, it doesn't bother you. You don't have fear. Alex Jones is not some type of, you know what I mean? You just look at him like, man, what a sad guy. And then verse 4, the ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Alex Jones goes on to say, all I know is they're trying to blame gun owners when it was patriots that got targeted. They're making their move. The Democrats have said they're going to have a huge uprising in October, November. It's here. And that goes back into that AMTV guy talking about how October is a call for an uprising. October is a blood sacrificial ritual of MK Ultra, multiple personality shooters that are somewhere in different crowds all over the place. And, you know, they want to tell you that there's all these psychopaths and sociopaths out there when in reality they're lizard people from draconian Anunnaki planetary subdivisions in suburban households across America with, you know... I can't stand... I just can't believe that people fall for this stuff. And I want to get into this now. Alex Jones, I tried to pull up the video where he says this, and people that follow him know that this is true. He said that we're going to have a forensic expert specialist break down the gunshots and prove to you all that there was a second shooter. Okay, guess who this forensic expert specialist is? You ready for this? That came out the next day. The Health Ranger, Mike Adams, the New Ager. Okay, this guy's a New Ager who believes that we're living in a hologram. He's not a Christian, okay? He sells snake oil just like Kent Hovind. Just like Alex Jones, all right? And he's going on here now as a forensic acoustic analysis specialist. Just listen to his drivel. Listen to how arrogant and prideful this guy is as he's speaking to government authority figures that are trying to figure out the motive of this guy and trying to keep people at peace in the community.
Of course, the lab science director of CWC Labs, as well as an avid long-range target shooter. And so I have kind of a unique position to bring you this analysis. Now, for those of you who are watching from law enforcement or the FBI, I'm going to give you the location of the second shooter. And if you're like, whoa, what second shooter? Just hold on. I'll walk you through it, okay? It's very simple. So this is forensic acoustic analysis. This is all based on downloaded video files from YouTube, extracting acoustic information and then analyzing that to pull out signal from the noise. And this is what I do in my laboratory, CWC Labs, all the time. We use mass spec instrumentation. We're doing, isotopic spread ratio analysis. We're doing organic chemistry. We're doing ICP-MS, all kinds of analysis to pull signals out of noise. So this is the kind of thing I do every day. It just so happens now, it's a shooting situation. Maybe I can help out law enforcement here. I've been critical of the FBI and their lack of transparency about their investigation, but when they said they wanted help from the public, I decided to go ahead and shoot this video to, help them out. Maybe they haven't done this analysis yet. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. First of all, let's cover some basic math here. The speed of sound at 20% humidity in Las Vegas temperatures is about 345 meters per second. I'm going to use the metric system here for a lot of this for all the obvious reasons. The speed of a 55 grain.
I'm not even going to get into the drivel, but basically he goes on to say that he used quadratic equations to break down the velocity of the bullet coming off of the chamber, and then the sound waves, blah, 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 and there had to have been two different shooters. Then he takes different sound clips from different locations, okay? Not just one source where, one source. The best sound you would have gotten is somebody that was in the crowd that was, that heard the gunshots, that had their video recording. Then you take that sound, that would probably be the best source, okay? Or a source in one location. But they don't do this. They take it from multiple sources. They took it from a woman that was underneath the Mandalay Bay. They took it from all these different sources. They take chunks out where they want, and then they play it and say, oh, this sound doesn't match up with this sound. Well, no crap, because they're taken from multiple locations. I'm gonna say this very simply, okay? Mandalay Bay is like an egg shape, okay? It's like, I can't do it with my fingers, but it's like an egg shape, okay? The top of an egg, okay? Half a sphere, okay? Probably less than that. That's what the Mandalay Bay looks like. The guy had a room on the outside of the shell, okay? The egg shell, okay? He had a room on the outside and then on the inside. When you're shooting off a gun like that, okay, and the sound waves are refracting all over the place, you're going to hear multiple, it's going to sound like multiple gun shooters when you're inside the actual egg shape and he's shooting off, okay, the rifle and whatnot. You're going to hear it bounce off the walls. You're going to hear it, the sound's going to go like this. It's going to actually bounce off the walls and curl tail in. You're going to hear it coming off from multiple directions. And that's not including the echo from off buildings, the bullets actually hitting concrete. You know what I mean? You're going to hear, it's going to sound like 3 or 4 shots when one shot's going off. And people are going to hear it like it's from a mile away. They're actually, the police officers, the only way they found out that there was a shooter on the 32nd floor was because of the flashes, the muzzle flashes. That's the only reason why, because they literally thought, like, where is this coming from? It sounds like it's coming from everywhere. Okay, and this guy was a mathematician. He was a brilliant person. He knew what he was doing. So you have that source, and then you have another one on the outside of the building, and it's not, that sound is actually, most of it's going, to the east or to the west or north or south or whatever, however the building's situated. Most of that sound is going off in another direction. So you have all these people on one side, on the far side of they're thinking, where's that coming from? It's got to be coming from around here. And then he moves over to the inside and he starts shooting. And then those people are thinking like, oh, the gunshots must be way further away. And then you have another woman who hears the gunshots on the outside of the building and she's underneath it. And it sounds like boom, 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 boom. And then she's still on the outside of the building. And then all of a sudden she starts hearing this because she's being blocked off from the sound. She's not on the outside of the egg shape of the building. I mean, does that make sense for you? I probably should draw it up in a diagram. Okay. And so musicians, people that do musicians will know what I'm talking about. They have microphones that pick up sounds that we can't even hear. They'll have a microphone on one side of the sound recorder, and it's like a boom mic that's pointed towards the drums. And when the drums are going off, the sound waves increase as they move further away, and it picks up more sound waves than you would find than a microphone sitting up close to the drum set. It actually picks up sounds we can't hear. All right? So sound is a very peculiar thing, and it can be manipulated based on your location, based on the surroundings. You know what I mean? Anybody could call themselves an expert and go online and put together a video like this guy, and then people would latch onto it and think that that's like the new, anyway, so don't be fooled. Just don't be fooled. Here we go. And then he has to dig his heels in deeper and suggest that Vegas cover-up is collapsing and the sheriff may be in danger.
Vegas Sheriff Joe Lombardo, even the night of the shooting, was calm and composed. But in subsequent press conferences, he is agitated. He is scared. He acts like he is in fear of his life. And we're about to go to some of those press conference clips here in a moment. But then when you discover who's in control of this investigation, then you understand why he's so concerned and why my sources in federal law enforcement and others are concerned, from what they know, that the sheriff of Las Vegas is being threatened and that his life is in danger and that he could be suicided or arkancided at any time to cover up.
Ordered or confirmed? Or changed. So I wanted to ensure the accuracy of that. But most of this conference will be done strictly through my narrative provided to you. Okay?
You know why the sheriff's voice was shaky? Is because he came out giving out information saying that unless the guy was superhuman, it seems like he had to have had help. And that slip of the tongue, which doesn't mean anything, that he's trying to cope with it himself, how this could have happened, doesn't mean anything. And people grab that and go, oh, that he's admitting there's a second shooter. There's a cover-up. And then he comes out later on, a week later, and he's distraught and shaking, and his voice is trembling. And now they're making up even more conspiracy theories that he might be killed off. He has to cover it up. You know what happened? You guys ran with this narrative that they put out, this fake narrative you guys made up, and it's putting people, they're second-guessing the sheriff. They're second-guessing the police department. And this guy's probably destroyed, going, man, how did this happen? You know, it was a slip of the tongue. And now you got my reputation is on the line now. And he's probably hurt. You know what I mean? And that's probably why he's shaking and his voice is shaking. Is that he's like sitting there going, man, I cannot, I got to be very careful with everything I say, because lunatics like Alex Jones and AMTV and Call for Uprising might come out, and all before you know it, it's going to spread a bunch of these rumors on the internet, and here we are. Now they can't even take us, they can't even take us seriously. If the people can't take the police seriously, we have anarchy. I'm not saying that everybody in police are good or are evil. I'm not saying that. There are evil people in police, but most of them are good. Alex Jones is about anarchy, man. I'm telling you, that's straight up communism. Socialism. I'm not even going to play this doofus. Here we go. Listen to this. I'm glad that we have the Next News Network. They're Christian. They're actually real Christians. Listen to this. This is what I've been trying to tell you guys the whole entire time. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
Las Vegas sheriff gave a press conference that the Las Vegas shooter was living a secret life. Take a look.
Night at Route 91. More than 100 investigators have spent the last 72 hours combing through the life of 64-year-old Stephen Paddock to produce a profile of someone I will call disturbed and dangerous. What we know is Stephen Paddock is a man who spent decades acquiring weapons and ammo and living a secret life, much of which will never be fully understood. he meticulously planned on the worst domestic attack in United States history.
That's exactly what we said after the first initial video where my wife and I could not even handle the type of evil. The next video, literally that's exactly what we said. And you know why? It has nothing to do with us. It's because Jesus Christ and discernment. That's it. And so I'm glad that right there, I'm going to play that, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you that it couldn't have been ISIS. ISIS claims all kinds of stupid stuff. They're actually being defeated right now, hardcore. And they're trying to latch on to anything that they can to keep causing terror in people's hearts. It couldn't have been ISIS, and the proof that this guy was loony and he was living a second life. Here we go. ISIS claim of link to Las Vegas shooter is a signed terror group is desperate to remain relevant, experts say. Terrorism experts said Monday they are not surprised ISIS would claim to be linked to the Nevada shooting since it fits a recent pattern of the terrorist group trying to claim credit for high-profile incidents. It seems like they're desperate for attention and will claim just about everything, said Colonel Clark, a Pittsburgh-based political scientist and terrorism expert for the think tank RAND Corporation. They've lost so much territory and they fear they're becoming irrelevant. See, Alex Jones and all these people, I'm not going to say that the RAND Corporation, I mean, they got faults, okay? But the people, the RAND Corporation that supposedly created Al-Qaeda, okay, is all of a sudden saying that they're becoming irrelevant, that Al-Qaeda is becoming irrelevant. Why would they do that? Aren't they profiting off of Al-Qaeda? Aren't they? No. Okay? It shows the hypocrisy. So you have ISIS who is being defeated all over the Middle East. Go look this up. They're being totally obliterated all over the Middle East. They're trying to set up sleeper cells in Africa and wherever they can in Europe and whatnot, and it's failing because people know their MO now, okay? And I'm not sure if the world leaders have taken off the shackles, the chains that police had to like go after these people. I don't really know, but they're being dismantled all over the place. Okay. They're at their lowest point right now. And so they latched on to this Nevada shooter without saying his name, without even saying his name. They didn't even know his name. They randomly said, yep, that was our guy. And there's no link to it. So that goes out the window. Okay. And ISIS has done this many times where they claim ownership of something that's not even theirs. It's to try to strike fear in people. New details emerged from Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock and girlfriend Marilyn Dan Lee. She had no idea who he was, basically. I knew Stephen Paddock as a kind, caring, quiet man, said his girlfriend. He never said anything to me or took any action that I was aware of that I understood in any way to be a warning that something horrible like this was going to happen. Talking about the money that he gave her, the tickets to go to the Philippines, and then gave her $100,000 to buy a home for her family. I was grateful, but honestly, I was worried that first the unexpected trip home and then the money was a way of breaking up with me, she said. It never occurred to me in any way whatsoever that he was planning violence against anyone. She was shocked to know she was leaving, the woman told 7 Australia. Two women identified as her sisters told an Australian television network Wednesday that they believe Paddock arranged Danley's trip to the Philippines so that she wouldn't interfere with his plans. He sent her away so that he can plan what he is planning without interruptions, said one woman. In that sense, I thank him for sparing my sister's life, but that won't compensate the dead people's lives. So she had no idea who this guy was. He was living a double life. He was having sex with prostitutes in Las Vegas while he was dating her. Okay? So she doesn't know what's going on. She says that he was taking anxiety medication a few months before the actual shooting because he was, again, delving deeper into madness. He was an atheist, Okay, look at the Bible study we just did on the Las Vegas shooter, Ephesians 6:12. He's delving deeper into madness. He has to take anxiety medicine to try to get rid of what's going on, the Antichrist spirit that's feeling that, and he says he would lay in bed and talk about and go, oh God, and, just kind of cry in bed for hours. Okay, the guy was deranged. He probably woke up and was like, I don't want to live anymore. I want to shoot myself. And he's just sitting there crying out because he can't take it anymore. The autopsies came back that there's nothing wrong with his brain. He has no tumors, okay? The guy was mentally stable. He planned this thing. That shows you that he's very intellectual, that there was nothing wrong with him. It's not like he went in there with one gun like the guy for the movie shooting for Batman Night Rises. I can't remember his name. He didn't go in there with just a couple guns and shoot up things and that was it. No, he planned all of this, meticulous planning to try to raise as much hell as he could before he killed himself. Stephen Paddock wanted to make people happy, friend says of suspected Las Vegas shooter. He actually cared about everybody. He tried to make people happy. He tried to make people care, and I don't know what happened to him. I've even looked at photos online of, I guess, him and his girlfriend. I was even trying to look into his eyes to see if I saw something that wasn't normal. No, I didn't see anything. I want closure for these people, Crawford said. I can't believe that the person that I knew would even consider hurting somebody. I want so bad to have answers for people. I want to solve this. I want us to do whatever I can to tell the authorities to look here. Look here. Here we go. Neighbors in his Mesquite, Nevada neighborhood were shocked that the Las Vegas shooter lived near him. It's hard to find anyone here who knew him. Paddock had lived in Mesquite for less than a year and apparently kept to himself. There's neighbors that say that the guy just looked angry all the time. He wouldn't talk to anybody. He had a big safe in his room, in his actual garage, had a huge safe full of weaponry that people didn't know until after the FBI went and investigated. He had a safe full of a bunch of weapons. And people go, well, that's safe. That's more proof of a conspiracy theory. Blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? An Australian businessman who knew Paddock for years said that he kept the safe full of guns. That's what he was talking about. It's just more evidence that there's other people that know Paddock and are coming out and telling the truth about him, that he was deranged, that he set this all up himself. He didn't need help. Stephen Paddock was brilliant, had an intimate knowledge of the Second Amendment, and had a huge gun room, says Friend, and it's revealed that he made to order weapons that cost thousands of dollars. An Australian man who wanted to remain anonymous had multiple encounters with Paddock because he started dating his girlfriend's sister. He was extremely intelligent, methodical, conservative, guarded, and strategic, a planning, thinking type of guy. He had a substantial amount of money using algorithms for gambling. I know somebody right now who's doing that and is making money. His comments were that it's a substantial hobby that needs to be protected. A gun room, he said. That goes hand in hand with the gun safe he had. He was also allergic to many pills and was unable to renew his pilot's license. He had flown planes since he was a teenager because he could not take pills needed to reduce his blood pressure. At casinos where he was a regular, he was such a valued customer that staff obliged his request to wash his room's carpets with plain water. See, the guy just had high blood pressure. He was constantly on edge, The guy had weird allergic type things. You see, there's actually people that you can't even like shake their hand because they're germaphobes. They think that they're better than you. Like Howie Mandel, who's an actor, he's a hardcore germaphobe. He wears gloves all the time. You get in his face, you breathe, you accidentally breathe on him, and he has to literally go wash his clothes. You know what I mean? Like you accidentally shake his hand, he has to get alcohol sanitizer and wash his hands. Germaphobe. That's who this guy was. He just thought he was better than everybody. The family's come and said it. Analysts have said it, that he was an egotistical, prideful, arrogant, narcissistic man. Okay? I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was a germaphobe because I was like, my body's cleaner than yours. Don't touch me. You can't touch my food and whatnot. You know what I mean? And that was because I was a selfish little kid. I thought that I was better than people. You know what I mean? I'll admit it. I snapped out of that when my mom saved me to Christ. I snapped out of it instantly, but I did that. Las Vegas gunman's mom told neighbor he was bad. The mom of accused Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock once told a neighbor he was a bad boy, a new report says. He wasn't very sociable, resident Jorge Huertas said of Paddock, whom he met while living next door to the killer's mom in Mesquite, Texas. His mother said he is a bad boy. Las Vegas gunman hired a prostitute before shooting, officials say. Investigators believe Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock hired a prostitute in the days leading up to the shooting and were interviewing other sex trade workers for information, a U.S. official briefed by federal law enforcement officials said. The official wasn't authorized to discuss the matter publicly and spoke to the AP on condition of anonymity. The lack of social media footprint is likely intentional. We're so used to in the first 24 to 48 hours being able to review social media posts. If they don't leave us a note behind or a manifesto behind, and we're not seeing that, that's what's making this longer. Lefevre said it was not a loving, caring relationship between Paddock and Danley. He would talk to her in a condescending way. This is talking about his girlfriend. So Paddock would talk down to his girlfriend. He would talk to her in a condescending way, and while I was concerned, I thought it was part of his nature. So there you go, just talking about, just laying it all out there. I mean, you guys can go read it for yourselves. A prostitute reveals Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock hired her for sick rape fantasies and boasted that he was born bad. Okay? And a text message to the Vegas hooker, okay, and investigative journalists saw the actual text messages and the FBI. And a text message to the Vegas hooker, the killer boasted about how he was born bad and had the bad streak is in my blood. Go look up the Bible study on the Las Vegas shooter that I just did, and you'll understand what he means when he says bad blood. I didn't have anything really to do with him, my dad, but the bad streak is in my blood. I was born bad. Okay. The 27-year-old sex worker who was not named told the reporters when he would have a winning streak, he would go back and have really aggressive and violent. He had a dark, twisted side. And it goes on to say that he would send text messages talking about how he wanted to do a bunch of sexual deviant stuff to her. Okay, here's another article that's come out. The Las Vegas shooter did not like the sun. He lived like a vampire. This is from actual public. This is from public records of him. He was trying to sue the casino for slipping on something on the floor like water. And anyway, this is public record. It's court transcripts. In the deposition, Paddock gives no hint that one day he would turn a country music festival into a killing zone. But the reclusive gambler lifted the veil a little on the life he led in the years before he killed 58 strangers. Revelation came as Paddock's brother Bruce told NBC News he had been questioned twice by the FBI, including a 4.5-hour grilling by a profiler. They were just talking about our childhood, what schools we went to, who his friends were, all that stuff. The guy is a wizard with books, his brother said, recalling how his brother used to do the family's tax returns and juice them so that they would get back thousands of dollars in refunds. So the Stephen Paddock guy would wander the streets at night in Vegas, would not go out during the day. He was an accountant, so he knew how to fudge numbers. He would juice tax returns for the family so that they could get a bunch of money. He himself would use algorithms, because he was a brilliant mathematician, to make money and then use the actual hotels to give him hotels and flights and whatnot, okay? And then he would have sex with prostitutes at night. This is all the signs of a psychopathic, sociopathic individual who just went off on a Grand Theft Auto rampage. That's it, okay? There's no conspiracy here. He even had an escape plan. Okay, the guy was just going to go on a Grand Theft Auto rage. Look at my Bible study I talked about. Ephesians 6:12, the Las Vegas shooter. And anyway, this article goes on to say that there's nothing wrong with the guy's brain. There's no tumor, no nothing like that. I wanted to explain to you guys how conspiracy theorists just sound so retarded, okay, when you really think about it. This is just one instance of an interview with the sheriff, Kevin McMall, from the Las Vegas shooting scandal.
Potential autopsy report. Joseph?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to know a couple of things. Number one, addressing a possible motive, I would like to see an autopsy report specifying possible cancers. And while there, measuring the amount of gunpowder residue on the body. And number two, evidence beyond the reported hammer in the room, that the broken windows were broken outward and not inward.
Do you mean you mean the windows were broken from the outside or from the inside and pushed out?
Well, there's a report that there was a hammer found in the room, but where's the evidence that the glass was pushed out?
Oh, did the glass fall on the ground, or did you find that glass?
Correct.
That kind of thing, Undersheriff?
Yeah, there's glass all over the valet area and as well as down below. So I'm not quite sure I really understand that question, but absolutely. And to your point, sir, on the autopsy, as you can imagine, the coroner's office has been just literally overwhelmed. Because also let's be very candid. Everyday crime has not stopped. People dying has not stopped. We also we normally wait somewhere in the range of between 8 and 12 weeks for autopsy reports. That is continuing. We are awaiting the results. I understand it. I did say that the press has an insatiable appetite, and 20 years ago it was a lot easier for us to conduct an investigation without that demand for right now news, which also, like I mentioned before, sort of plays into the fact that as we provide information, we're providing it with the caveat knowing that it certainly could change.
Just listen. I mean, you can tell the guy that called in, he was unhinged. Okay. He wanted to know if the glass was broken inward, because he wanted to create a conspiracy theory that maybe he had help, See, this is what these people do. These unholy men, these wicked men, they want to pick apart information so that they can so that they can keep promoting their lie. They want to dig their heels in deeper. Galatians 5:24 through 26. And they that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts, the lust of fear, and whatnot, and all that stuff. Okay? I mean, that's what these people want. They want entertainment. They love fear. They love occult teachings. They want to learn. They think that they'll know more about God by learning about the occult. No, the only reason why we talk about the occult is to tell people it's real. There's a spiritual warfare going on, and stay away from it. Instead, other people, they don't even talk about Jesus Christ. They just put out the occult, and that's all they do is they keep pushing it. It's because people have an insatiable appetite, like the sheriff said, for weird stuff. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. That's all it is. They're just provoking everybody. They just want to provoke you to anger. They want to provoke you to nonsensical ways of thinking. They want to provoke you into buying their lie. And so anyway, the officer goes on to say that all the CAD, all the report, there's so much data there that they couldn't come out with an official narrative within an hour or 2 hours worth. And they had to do what they could to stop people's fears of this suggestion that there's multiple shooters out there and there's all the ISIS and whatnot, because as soon as news goes out there, you don't think Alex Jones and them start making crap up? Of course they do. Look at Y2K. Look at this documentary. Go look at Alex Jones InfoWars. And during the Y2K, the year 2000, December 31st, year 2000, his radio show was all about fear-mongering and how World War III was being launched. Okay? War of the Worlds type stuff. So yeah, that's what they do. It's clickbait. It's to get you to buy their products, which we've gone through. They want to grab your attention right away, and they keep promoting this lie, and it's fooling people. And so anyway, the police had all this information, and they're trying to diagnose everything, all the video footage, and essentially what's come out is the guy's just a psychopath. Okay, he's living a double life. That's it. Here's the brother trying to tell people. I mean, he's an emotional wreck. He's not an actor like A Call for an Uprising or AMTV and all these people are saying. He's an emotional wreck, and he's trying to get across to people that his brother, that there's no way for him to have seen this happening. You know what I mean? You guys go look up the interview yourself. I mean, the guy's, it's just so sad people making up stuff. This is from the Bible study that I did. David Wood, he was an atheist, just like Stephen Paddock. He was an atheist, and he delved deeper into madness and believed that we were all animals and that he could actually manipulate the weather and talk to animals. And then he ended up killing his dad and whatnot. And so That's why it's important to have the Lord Jesus Christ in your life. It's important because we are made in the image of God. We have a soul, the electricity in your brain. Look up the documentary, What is the Soul? I talk about that. And atheists and Satan and Lucifer and all these different pagan religions and all this confusion, Satan wants to destroy the mind, because once the mind is destroyed, the soul is so much easier. And David Wood is an amazing a testimony to how easily it is to be led astray and then falling into that deep, dark madness in your mind, where Satan then can use you to cause destruction. Okay? Check this out.
When I was 5 years old, I had a dog named Goliath. One day, my mother received a phone call. She turned to me with tears in her eyes and informed me that Goliath had been run over by a bus. I looked at her and thought to myself, so what, it's just a dog? But my mother was sad and I couldn't figure out why. I soon noticed that other people got sad when something died. It seemed really weird to me. Crying isn't going to change the fact that it's dead, so why are you crying? I also noticed that people didn't share my amazing insights into the nature of reality. I remember sitting beside a lake when I was 8 years old, watching ants march in perfect formation. And it suddenly became entirely clear to me that ants ruled the world and had only tricked us human beings into thinking that we were in charge. Do you have any idea how powerful and brilliant they must be if they've managed to deceive the entire human population? It would start raining and I would think, okay, how did I do that? I also had the ability to control time, but I didn't know how to use this ability yet. That summer, my best friend from elementary school died. Jimmy had always talked about going parasailing. He finally got the chance and his harness broke. He plummeted to his death. When I heard about it after knocking on his door, I had the same reaction I'd had when my dog Goliath died, namely, so what? But this time was different. It seemed like I should be bothered by Jimmy dying, so I started wondering if something might be wrong with me. After pondering this for several months, I realized why I was different. I had evolved to a higher stage of humanity. These sad little emotions the rest of you have, they're like vestigial tales left over from more primitive life forms. But humanity 2.0 had arrived, and you earlier models were now obsolete. The following year, I had a life-changing experience. I was running from the police in the middle of the night, and they had me surrounded on 3 sides. The 4th side was the Monongahela River, so I jumped in and swam across and started working my way through the trees on the other side. I eventually emerged from a patch of woods, and I found myself in someone's backyard. In front of me was a beautiful garden. I started to walk around the garden, but then I stopped to philosophize. I thought, I don't care about the people in that house, so why am I going out of my way to avoid stepping on their vegetables? Why am I being so courteous? Because I've been brainwashed, that's why. I've been breaking the law for years, and yet society had been manipulating my behavior all along. Greatness had been polluted by mediocrity. As I stomped my way through that garden, I had an incredible rush of freedom. The world.
There you go. He goes on to say that he kept liking this rush that he was getting of total freedom, and then he ended up just killing his dad with a hammer to the head. And people want to know, how could somebody do something so evil? It's because they lose their mind. They lose their mind, they lose their soul, and Satan indwells in them, the Antichrist spirit. And that's what Stephen Paddock had, an Antichrist spirit. And I'm going to show people go, oh, you know, they even get mad at me for the movie It, saying that John Wayne Gacy is, you know, that Stephen King didn't base Pogo the Clown or whatever on John Wayne Gacy. You're crazy. And I'm like, no, he did. Okay. Hollywood actors, I mean, writers and stuff, they use serial killers to write all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to show you that they do that. And then also Ed Gein was looked at as in his neighborhood as somebody who was very quiet and just a man who nobody thought anything of him, that he just was a gentle man. But he was living a double life. He was taking people's skin, killing them, taking their skin and wearing it, and then digging up dead bodies. I mean, you know, evil, Satan is, people are convinced Satan isn't real. That's the best trick. Go look up the article, Sex Dolls Brothel it's at liesofthedevil.com. Lucifer's anarchy is here, something like that. And I explained that now people are not going to have sexual relations with women anymore. They want to have sex with dolls all the time. And pedophiles now they can have sex with little children, dolls, so that they don't go out and commit pedophilia. This world is destroying itself. People need to wake up. Satan is real, people, very real. Okay, that's the danger, not your government. Your government can be dangerous, okay, and we should expose the evil. But you know what's even more real and more evil is Satan. And you know why there's so many laws in America? It's because there's so many people with so much freedom, so many psychopaths going out there and breaking those laws and getting away with it. And so they have to just make more laws. And the government's already paranoid. With all the guns floating around, they're already paranoid. And then you got Alex Jones screaming and yelling. You got Rudy Davis, Kent Hovind's friend, Kent Hovind himself, rabble-rousing. No wonder the government's paranoid. When you got people like that. Where's it at? Okay. Oh, let me flip the Bible over. Where's it at? Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Ezekiel 33 verse 9. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity. But thou hast delivered thy soul. Jump down to verse 11. Say unto them, as I live, saith the Lord God, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way, and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will ye die, O house of Israel? Why turn from your wicked ways? Stop hating the government, stop believing in these conspiracy theories, learn to love each other, preach the gospel, go evangelize, just like what we're doing downtown. Call me, 520-510-3982. We'll get your ministry started, okay? We're going to do everything we can. All right? Go order the documentaries online at liesofthedevil.com. Spread them out to friends and family. Wake them up. Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 21. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. Thank you. The Bible verses are more important than what I'm giving you guys here. Okay, whether you believe it or not. Okay? And I thank God working in my wife to give me the right Bible verses at the right time. Okay, here we go. Ed Gein.
The writers of fiction, who are really good at it, could take Ed Gein and you could make him almost anything you wanted to make him in the world of horror, because he had so much to work with.
Gein's crimes were committed against the living and the dead. The depraved acts of a damaged mind, they slashed through the surface of a complacent age, revealing the darkness that lurked just below. His twisted world became America's obsession. And what is at bottom, the story of a boy and his mother, became the template for half a century of horror.
There's something about Gein that appeals to the morbid curiosity within all of us. It's so macabre, so bizarre, so deviant that we can't look away.
How long have you known Mr. 7 years? 7 years. What kind of a man did you know him as? Well, a man, he's a nice man, just like anybody else. The only difference I'd say in the man, he seems to be a little hot.
There you go. He was a normal man. He just seemed a little off. And he was living a double life, and nobody had any idea. Same thing with Stephen King using John Wayne Gacy as that Pogo the Clown guy. And all these people want to hush-hush. They want to just block their ears like, oh, I love Hollywood. I love the It movie. Don't tell me that. You're mean, and I hate you. Don't tell me those things. I'm going to go watch it anyway. And I love death. Go look at us evangelizing at the It movie opening. When that people literally said that. And here's what I also want to warn people like this guy who's an atheist, who goes on Alex Jones' channel, and whatnot. He's an atheist, and he's using beautiful language and talking about the devil as if, it's all placating to Christians so that it makes you feel comfortable with the stuff that he tells you about, the information he gives you. When he's no different than InfoWars and Alex Jones. He's a money-making, that's what he loves. Okay, that's what it's all about. And it's all about bringing the atheists and the Christians together in a New World Order religion, perfect harmony, I know evil. This is how this guy talks. I know evil. Evil. We need to have a discussion on the moralities. I mean, there's the devils out there. We need to come together as the human race. As the human race. Learning from each other. Progress. Humans can live with robots. We just need to come together. You know, that's who this person is. And people are going to play right into it thinking like, oh, this atheist is what a good guy. What a good guy. He doesn't know Christ. He's an antichrist.
Parched deserts of exploded histories. We need to bring healing rain to the parched deserts of exploded histories. We need to give sympathy to those who've been harmed, not to those who've committed acts of evil such as this. After that, they are past the shadows. They are in the land of the devil and they cannot be recovered. This guy in particular, his brains are all over a hotel wall, for God's sakes. But prevention, prevention, prevention. Give sympathy, ask questions. Forget about the weather, forget about sports.
Do you understand it's an act? The explosion histories of the club. We need to reevaluate each other. We need to talk. Questions, 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 progress. Good things. And that's how we do it. You know, I mean, that's who this guy is. It's ridiculous. Just watch him again. Man, I it's just ridiculous. I'm trying to...
Forget about all the nonsense that passes for conversation these days. Only connect. As E.M. Forster wrote, connect, connect, connect. Ask people important questions about their history. Have moral clarity in the suffering that they have experienced. Identify the immorality of those who harm children, who destroy children, who attack children, who beat children, who indoctrinate children. Reach out with words. Capture the connection.
I'm going to point something out here, okay? Stephen Paddock was not beat by his dad or anything like that. Do you understand how deceitful these guys are? He takes, talk to the children if they're getting beaten, if what's happening with them. Just talk to them. Clarity, morality, clarity, progress. You know? And he's talking as if Stephen Paddock was beaten as a young child and that's why he grew up into this monster he is. No, it's because he was an atheist. His dad was never around. His dad hated his mom. He left the kids with the mom and he never showed up. Okay? And this guy's talking as if Stephen Paddock was beaten. Oh man, I can't stand it. I'm sorry, people. It's just I can't stand watching these videos and these people.
And provide the healing of genuine visibility and sympathy for the wrongs and the evils that people have suffered through no fault of their own as children. That is my prescription for the world as a whole, because every time we distract ourselves from the necessary conversations about our early origins, every time we do that, our world shrinks. Don't you feel it? You feel it, right? You feel the world, it is shrinking. It is getting smaller. Well,
Actually, I don't feel the world shrinking. It's huge. It's massive. Okay? This guy is a moron. Okay? Stephen, whatever your name is, I mean, I don't want to use the word moron, but it's just, I can't. He was an atheist, and this guy's trying to make it out as that he was abused as a child. No, he was an atheist. And saying that we need to talk to each other and find out our moral high ground as individuals. We need to talk to each other about morality. Well, you know what the atheists do? They lie about Jesus Christ, and they try to destroy people's faiths. So why would I have a conversation with this guy? Jeremiah chapter 7, I'm going to close it on this. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Well, if you have the Lord Jesus Christ living in your heart and you have discernment, you can get a glimpse and understand it and stay away from sin and go down the narrow path. But those who are wicked, so let's talk about how can we know the heart? The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart. Just like King David, Lord, search my heart. See that if I've done wrong, let me know, and I will go to those who I've wronged, and I will do whatever he can to make it right. Okay, David was after God's own heart. Okay, and so the Lord can search the heart, and that's what this verse is talking about. These people that are wicked, why do they trust in themselves? The Lord knows them. He knows they're wicked. I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways, and according to the fruit of his doings. As the partridge sitteth on eggs and hatcheth them not, so he that getteth riches and not by right shall leave them in the midst of his days, and at his ends shall be a fool. Thank the Lord Jesus Christ for his word. I'm incredibly rich. I've got the most amazing wife in the world. The most amazing wife. We're living a great life, going and evangelizing, traveling America. We live simply. We don't live in a house. You know, we think it's great. And we love going out and speaking to people. And I can't wait to start putting up events so that you guys can see where we're going, where I can wake people up. That's what it's all about. That's the great adventure. Being in God's plan, being in worshiping God and going out and evangelizing and speaking boldly and truthfully. And having a family and whatnot, of course. And I pray that we have that later on in the future. But that's what the great adventure is, people. You're here for one reason. And you can pick two choices. You are here to worship. That's what God made us for, to worship. And you can either worship the Antichrist spirit, or you can worship God, Lord Jesus Christ, the truth. You can worship creation more than the creator, like these atheists and these evolutionists, or you can worship God, the creator. Okay? You can worship idols, you can worship Hollywood, you can worship debauchery, all that. And see where we're headed at. I mean, have you seen Harvey Weinstein from Hollywood? Okay? That's at the top. Okay? These people are sick pedophiles. You want to know what Pizzagate is? Go look at the Roman Catholic Church in Hollywood. Okay? You can either do that, live lasciviousness as brute beasts, or you can live a simple life and love the Lord Jesus Christ and have freedom and go out and travel and evangelize, and he'll bless you and he'll give you what you need. Call me, 520-510-3982 if you want to talk, if you want to start your ministry, you want to pray. Or go to liesofthedevil.com, sign up for the newsletter. Join us at the front line as soldiers, fellow soldiers and brothers and sisters in Christ, and go after evil. Rip souls away from Satan and deliver them to Jesus Christ. If you believe in what the ministry is doing, we've distributed like over 5,000 discs. We've had like 15,000 plus visitors to the website in the last 6 months. We've talked to so many countless people, their souls, just to talk to them about saving them to the Lord Jesus Christ. And it's all because people donate or they support the ministry. And if you feel like we're doing a good job and Jesus Christ lays it in your heart to donate to us, we'll put it to good use, okay? We're not out to build an empire, and you'll see that. And as the ministry grows, God willing, we will lift all boats, okay? It's not just us. We're going to lift a lot of ministries up, and we're going to take over as much as possible, as much as God will allow it. And you'll see it. It's going to start here, okay? It started in hearts of many others across America, but we've always been like, it's so fragmented. Well, no, we're at the front line with you guys, okay? And we're not backing down unless, God forbid, something happens. Or God allows us, God says no more. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. John 8:32, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free.